Hi everybody, Tim Hughes here. I'm the CEO and co-founder of DLA Ignite. With me today I've got William McKnight. And William and I are going to be talking about the evolution of data in the enterprise. And everyone on LinkedIn seems to be talking about data and AI and all of these things. And what we're going to do today is actually get to the bottom of this. And William is an expert on this. He's going to explain it all to us, or explain it to me in a language that I can understand. William, where can people find you?
Oh, hello, Tim. Great to be here. People can find me at mcknightcg.com, which is the website for my firm.
Okay, fantastic. William, talk to us a little bit about the evolution of data in the enterprise, and let's kick that off with the title of the podcast.
Yeah, well, I've been with data for my whole career, so long time, and seen a lot of changes to how.
So I remember Winchester drives.
I don't remember that.
Okay, right, and big flat 5-inch floppy disks.
Okay, vaguely yes. I mean,
I'm obviously a bit older than you then, William.
I don't know about that. I do go back to punch cards though in high school.
Okay, yeah.
That's how I started. Bringing the stack back.
It's like a punch cards. Yeah. We did that at that university.
Yeah.
I tried to get out of that.
Yeah, I tried to as well, but that's how we got started. And it was amazing then, as things are amazing now, right? Everything changes. So seen a lot of changes in data management in my career. I started with DB2, a relational database. And back then it was all about, all about operations. You might have a database to have your customers in, to keep your sales in, so you can do weekly sales or something like this. And of course, that's evolved so much. I went through the whole data warehousing cycle, which is still prevalent.
It's still cycling.
Yeah, absolutely. Still very important. Still part of.
We'll come on to it, because I've got some questions about data warehouses to ask you.
Okay, good.
If you've got time.
I like talking about data warehousing. But anyway, I went through the data warehousing, and now it's all of the above. Right now we're trying to store all our data. So that's all your big data, which is obviously all the rage right now. We hope that the structured data is under some form of management, and now we're trying to get all that unstructured data under management so we can do AI.
So there's two forms of data, isn't there? There's structured data and there's unstructured data. So explain to us the difference between the two.
Yeah, you can think of it that way. There's nuances to it all, but structured data, we think about that as the alphanumeric data, the data that fits nice and tidy into columns of our tables. So numbers, letters, words, obviously, things like that.
Customer address.
Yeah.
Telephone number.
And really, that's still the foundation of data in the enterprise. You get that wrong, and your whole enterprise is going to suffer. So you've got to get that right. And frankly, we're still struggling in many enterprises to get that part right. But going beyond, which now we get past that structured data into unstructured data, which is all other forms of data, really. It's kind of a blanket term. So audio, video, pictures, different kinds of structure type of data, a lot of sensor reading kinds of data, things like this that now have become suddenly important because they have utility in AI.
So why has data become such a critical enabler for AI in the enterprise today?
I mean, data is the foundation of AI. You can't do AI without great data, or you will get shoddy results. And we're seeing that. People are moving fast into AI, but their data infrastructure isn't at a maturity level that will support AI. So you've got to remediate over here on the data infrastructure. I don't think anybody's to the point where we're done with our data. Yeah.
I think it's a continual journey, isn't it? That's what I'm always told. Maybe it's because I used to work for a database company and they were always busy trying to sell them. So that actually brings me on to a question I was going to ask you later, which is, how do you balance data quality with speed of AI adoption?
Oh, That's a great question, because data quality has always been a balancing act, right? You can put more and more energy, effort, budget, etc., into raising data quality, but there is a point of diminishing returns to that energy and that effort. And really, it just takes a skilled craftsman in this space to say, hey, that's enough. Enough's enough. But most companies aren't to the place where enough's enough. Most companies are still trying to get their data quality up, and it's not a sexy thing. It's not something that organizations, have a lot of people that want to focus on, right? They want to focus on the application. They want to focus on all the bells and whistles, the UI, and all the function that it will provide the enterprise. But back here, you got your data, and that data is supporting all that. And if that's not up to a quality standard, as defined, by the way, by the business areas, not the tech areas,
Okay, yeah.
you don't know better, then you're going to have problems.
So what's the biggest mistake organizations are making at the moment? Because most organizations are basically taking AI and they're retrofitting it, aren't they? Because there are AI first organization, but it's the minority, not the majority, isn't it?
Right. Most organizations are still working up to the point where AI is really impacting their business, and to the point where they are using it as a strategic advantage in the market. But they're all working on it. They all seem to be working on getting to that point. But to your question, the biggest mistake, I probably touched on it earlier, is getting ahead of yourself.
Okay.
Getting into AI because it's sexy, fun, and a competitive advantage, but your data isn't ready for AI. So getting your data ready for AI.
And we've been talking about this internally, about how you've kind of got bring your own AI, which is ChatGPT, Gemini, and all of those, which is just, I use ChatGPT for free. And then you've got enterprise AI, where you're actually using the data that you've got within the organization, and it's going to be restricted, and I'm not going to be able to see your payroll details and stuff like that. And there's still that balance, because I can just use my phone and use ChatGPT.
Absolutely, go for it. I do the same, right? But within organizations, sometimes they need a focused corpus of data to do work. Like, for example, customer support. We all experience customer support online, and the chats and that sort of thing. Where's it getting that data? It's actually talking to me about my account, my products, my spending, etc. It's getting that data from internal documents. And how is it doing that? Because it's doing that so fast. Well, there's emerged in the past couple of years a class of databases called vector databases.
Okay.
And a lot of
I heard about this. It's an AI event.
That's very important, and a lot of historical legacy databases have added vector data types.
Yep.
So that you can do some of this with their databases as well. So you can put in your own corpus of data.
Yeah, I was at an event recently and heard about vector databases. So I said to a friend from Oracle, you're just a relational database, and they said, no, we've got vector capability in Oracle now. So, okay. How do you define data maturity, and how does that matter for AI success?
Oh, great question. We have a maturity model, and we assess organizations.
When you say we, is that William McKnight has one?
Yes, my firm. We do this, and others do it as well. But it's a collection of where, for us anyway, it's a collection of where enterprises are, because we have a lot of touch points out there. So we collect them, and we organize where they are with data according to how they are doing as a business, because that's the bottom line. And we find that there are things that are associated with higher levels of business success, and things that are associated with lower levels of business success. So we put that on a spectrum. And so it includes technology, includes architecture, and it includes organization as well. So there are different things in there that we look for, that we suggest to organizations. And what a great model does is it suggests where you go next. Because believe it or not, A lot of organizations are on a very similar type of journey. They're at different points, but there are things that make sense in the next steps of their journey according to looking at what other enterprises that are beyond them have done.
And does that sort of like you put people on a continuum from 0 to like 100 or something?
Yeah. We don't get that granular. It's 4 for us. 1, 2, 3, or 4.
Okay, right. And so you've got a data maturity scale. Is there a blueprint or something for aligning data strategy with AI initiatives? Because I'm guessing that you go into an organization and they're already so far down an AI track, and quite often you're probably pulling them back rather than because the business is saying we need AI and we need it now. And the IT department says the data isn't ready or whatever. So there's always this tension.
There is that tension, and I don't want to be the one to say, okay, well, slow down your AI initiatives. I'd rather be, okay, let's hurry up and do great work over here on the data to catch up with the business.
Right.
But every business has AI initiatives, but they also have other initiatives that need data. And so what we like to do is look at those initiatives, what's on the calendar, what's in the budget for this year and next year, and what do you see, and go around the organization collecting these data points, and then cross-referencing all of those initiatives with what are the subject areas of the business that need to be mastered in order to do that well over the course of time. And then set about a schedule to actually start to master those subject areas in advance of when they are absolutely needed by these applications. So we can separate and we can have data professionals, skilled data professionals, do the data work, not as a drag along to an application developer who may not give it the priority that it really needs.
And this is also about getting understanding AI from a business strategy point of view and an IT perspective, because I'm guessing the two, we always say, oh, you need to think about the business strategy before the IT. But the fact of the matter is that the two are going to run together, aren't they?
They are. As a matter of fact, I don't see that AI has really changed a lot of what organizations exist for in terms of, what is the charter of the organization?
Yeah.
AI hasn't really changed the charter of the organization. It still needs to do the same things it's always done. It just needs to do them better. It needs to bring more data to bear quicker. It needs to do AI, not analytics, AI, not data analysis, in order to do these things well and at parity with what the market is doing.
I was actually at an event this morning in London, because it's the afternoon here, and they were talking about the fact that there needs to be more data scientists embedded into the business. Is that something that you would agree with?
Absolutely. We don't have enough really good skilled people that can truly analyze data today at the level of getting it ready for AI. And those are data scientists. Now, it's kind of a loose term anymore because you have data analysts, former data analysts who have grown into, being able to do more and have more modern approaches to their job. And so there are data scientists coming from that direction, as well as the PhD, direction as well. But we need them all. Every organization can use great data scientists. And we have learned over the course of time that it is best to have more out in different business areas than have it all centralized. So organizations are largely pursuing a great balance of centralized and decentralized. Some are behind the times doing more centralized, and some are just, we don't even think about it. Everything's decentralized, and neither of those approaches is really great.
Right. Just a change of gear slightly to talk about data as an asset. What does it mean to create data as an asset rather than a byproduct of what we're doing?
Yeah, and many organizations are aspiring to what you just said, that they want to make data an asset, but sometimes they don't know what that means.
Yeah. I don't.
Yeah, well, it means to bring the data to the maturity level that you need to bring it to in order to meet the objectives that you have.
Right.
And so this gets back to the maturity model discussion that we talked about. This also gets back to how to plan out your subject area mastery of data over the course of time that we talked about, when you cross-reference that to the application map and that sort of thing. So that's really what it means. The data quality is at a standard that meets business needs. You know what it is too. You're not guessing. The users aren't being surprised by the data they see that comes out of the tech area, because the technologists have made sure that the data quality is going to be there. And so it's all of that. It's really about bottom line business goals, but you can abstract yourself a little bit away from that and say, you know what, the data needs to be at a level in order to reach those business goals. So bringing data to that level.
So how do you measure the value of data?
Yeah, well, sooner or later, we'll all be faced with this when data becomes a true asset on the balance sheet. But in the meantime,
right, okay, that's okay, right, I understand.
Yeah, in the meantime, I don't know that I have the great formula for that, but I get back to what I was just talking about, the effectiveness of data. Is the data ready for the initiatives that you have for it? And are you thinking broadly enough about the things that you should be doing with data? And that's where ideas from someone like me can really help out, because I see so much across different industries and across different levels of maturity. And I can kind of predict where companies are going to go and where they should go. And given them that information, getting the data ready for all of that.
So I said I'd come back to you about the data warehouses. So I've heard all kinds of terms recently: data lakes, data sheds, all kinds of stuff. I mean, where are we with modern architecture and lots of data?
Oh, data outhouses and all sorts of things, right? A lot of consultants trying to coin terms out there and whatnot. It's fun to try to keep up with. I'm not a big term coiner myself, but there are some things in the zeitgeist that are very interesting, and I think really do add value to organizations. So one thing that we do is we do a lot of what we call data meshes. And data mesh sounds like just a term, but it's sort of an approach to how you do data. It's a balance of centralized and decentralized. So you're not saying to an organization, hey, you got to have one big data warehouse or one big data lake here, or you're not right. That will never happen, because organizations have to move too fast for something like that. And we're just organizationally, we're not set up for that. We can approach it, but we always find that there are seams that require multiple big structures of data, sometimes redundant data as well, in an organization. And that is a data mesh, where you have what we build is data lake houses, usually out in various business areas, but there's a connecting point so that we can get data from all of those lake houses together for any kind of centralized reporting that is needed. But it's a balance of centralized, decentralized again.
Yeah, and I guess that's part of that is about the availability of the data, how up to date the data is, those sort of things.
Yeah, there's a laundry list of expectations that application builders and users have about data, and we'll go through that laundry list with an organization. We'll find out, oh, well, we're counting on this data being up to date, but it's only updated every hour or something like that. No wonder your analysis is going to be wrong. So all sorts of things like that.
Yeah, I mean, I've been in situations where all of the things about data and data accuracy, it's the classic thing where you all come to a meeting and someone says the figure's 10 and someone says, no, it's not, it's 9, and it's not, it's right.
Yeah, absolutely.
They go, what date is that? When did you pull that data and stuff like that? William, this has been really fascinating. I could talk to you for a long time about data, but unfortunately the time is up. Our 20 minutes is complete. Where can people find you?
Again, it's the website, mcknightcg.com. And feel free to reach out if you have any questions about any of the the technologies we support, the architectures I talked about, your maturity level, your data quality level. I love talking about this data stuff.
Excellent. William, thank you so much for coming on. It's been great fun, and I've really enjoyed it. And I've learned a lot, which is important. So hopefully other people have learned a lot as well. William, thank you so much for today.